You guys, if there's any children y'all want to go back to the nursery, you know, just wrangle them on that. Drag them back, wrangle them back, whatever you want to call it. Oh man, I'm excited this morning, you guys. I'm nervous and excited. Y'all know the whole deal already. I enjoyed this. I really did. I enjoyed getting up. Well, I mean, I enjoyed just like during my week, like studying and seeing, just knowing God revealing stuff that He mentions the faith-filled thing. You know, every time you feel like He speaks to you, as usual, man, it just explodes your faith and keeps you pushing forward. And that's one thing I want to talk about this morning is like true, authentic faith. Like we ask ourselves, what is true, authentic faith? Like, what does it mean? You know. And I'll start off. We're going to be in Hebrews chapter 11 and 12. I'd like to read chapter 12, verse 1 for you guys real quick. Just it says, Hebrews 12, verse 1. It says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witness, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles us. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. This verse, man, I was in Hebrews reading and studying whenever Isaiah mentioned preaching and getting up and speaking. And as I was continuing on, I just said, yeah, you know, like a lot of us other guys in here, when he asked us to do something, we're just like, yeah, whatever, you know. Not thinking of the consequences are like we actually have to get up here and stand and speak in front of you guys. So, but all kidding aside, like as I read through that and I read through 12, I just kind of kept on studying, like preaching wasn't even on my mind or speaking to you guys at that moment. I just kind of kept working through Hebrews. And when I got to this verse, like I've been praying, like God just revealed to me like something I can share with the church, you know, something I can share with our body that somebody needs, you know. That's all we do this for anyway, get up here and speak, because we want Him to be glorified through us, you know. And just if one person can take a word out of what we say and just run with it and encourage us and spurs our faith that much further, that's it. That's all we want to do, you know. And of course bring Him glory constantly. But as I read through that verse, like the words surrounded by a great cloud of witness, it just stuck in my mind, like what is, you know, it just spurred like thought, like, hey, I want to dig a little further into this. And it spurred that question, like, what is authentic faith? You know, true authentic faith. And the best explanation I can come up with in my own mind would be like true authentic faith would be it's confident assurance in something that spurs action. Like if you believe, like me and Kenny was talking this the other day, like if you believed and somebody told you a tornado was about to go through and smash this building and throw it off, would you just be like, or would you get up and leave? You get up and leave. You know what I'm saying? So when I see, as I read through that and I read that verse, just like this cloud of witness, it made me go back and look, you know, through and find out what this great cloud of witness was. You know, what is this talking about? Of course, we all know there's you know, God, He's omnipotent, you know, and He's always around. He's always like got His eyes on us and helping us and watching us, you know, so nothing can be hid from Him. So automatically that's where my mind went. But I didn't realize, like I went back through chapter 11, and you guys want to turn with me, chapter 11, just verse 1. As I read through it, like I went back through and searching out this great cloud of witness, I began to read in chapter 11, and 11:1, it says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we have not seen. So that's just like I was saying a while ago, like to me, my definition of faith for myself would be the ultimate confidence in something that spurs action, you know, that makes me go, that makes me do. You know, like I was saying before about the tornado, like Like, if something's just dead set in front of you, you notice what's going on, it's gonna provoke action. Like, you're gonna get up and move if there's a car speeding towards you at 90 miles an hour. You know, you're not just gonna stand there and let it hit you. So, as I read through that, that verse 1 there, that's just like the total explanation, you know, for faith. And then as I went through like chapter 11, I started seeing how chapter 11, what it's doing is like sharing all these true men of faith with us that have like been through junk and they've had to like show faith, you know, and it's really pushing that verse 12:1 or chapter 12:1 where it talks about running the race set out for us in faith. And a lot in the New Testament, like anytime that Paul or any of those guys are like referencing athletics or competition or something, it's like always in pursuit of salvation. Always in pursuit of salvation. And I just thought that was really, really neat. Like I don't know why it just stuck in my head. I mean, I'm an athlete myself, you know, but just in that whole aspect of how when I was an athlete, the charge I had to go and do and succeed, you know, that was a super big push for me whenever I was in school. Like, and just to apply that to my Christian walk and my spiritual walk and just say, man, if I'm going to pursue God with true, authentic faith, action has to follow one way or another. And that's what I got out of chapter 11. Like, you read through like 11:4, it says, by faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. And it keeps working through. It says, by faith, Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not have to experience death. And if you go back to like Genesis 5 and you read that account, you'll notice there's like a phrase in there that says, Enoch faithfully walked with God. You won't find that in any of the paragraphs that's describing these, you know, this lineage of Adam, you know. So that's like, to me, that's pointing out, look, there is a huge difference in walking faithfully with God or just living. You know, in the other chapter or in the other paragraphs, it talks about living. You know, it says, and he lived. You know, and he lived. But then when you get to Enoch, it says he faithfully walked with God for X amount of years. You know, that it really specifies and points that out. You know, that there's a big difference in that. We can just live and turn up like we were talking about in Sunday school this morning about how the wickedness just, you know, in the days of Noah, how it just exploded, you know, and that's why, because we were just living instead of walking faithfully with God. Keeps going. It says, verse 7, it says, by faith Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear, something I want to take note of right there, in holy fear, built an ark to save his family. Jump on down to verse 8, it says, by faith Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as an inheritance, what did he do? It says he obeyed and went. You see the pattern, like these men of faith, these true men of faith that were walking faithfully with God, anytime they were met with a charge or an obstacle or something to do, you know, something God charged them with, immediate action followed. Immediate action. Not standing around on the fence. And I know that when I read the word, it pushes me toward making disciples, and it pushes me toward obeying the Great Commission. I know this stuff is true because I see it in the word, but then, man, it's just sometimes it's so hard just to full on go all in with that, you know. For some reason, like, we just want to sit, like I was talking about earlier, we want to sit and let the tornado just come rip the building down from underneath us instead of getting off our rear end and making disciples and, you know, studying in our word, staying in our word constantly, seeking out a relationship with God. It is so easy to forget that, and I think that's why God laid this message on my heart. You know, it may not be for everybody in this room, but maybe there are some folks in here right now that's been like, man, you know, I have been complacent, I have been a little lazy, and I have forgotten who that I serve. You know what I'm saying? You don't serve yourself. We serve God, you know, and it's so easy for us in our lives to get mixed up in that. I'm speaking to myself, like, that's one thing I want to point out too, like, when Isaiah said something about getting up here and speaking, like, I just said yes, of course, like, he's bad about it too, he's a yes man, so if you ask him to help you out, he will help you, so just ask away, you know. Same way with me, it's in our spirit, you know, it's in the spirit of Christ, you know, can you imagine asking Jesus for a little help on a roof or something, and be like, nah, I'm a little busy, I got some things going on. Of course, he would help you, you know, and that's just that spirit of Jesus, like pushing that forward. But just wanting to get up here and speak and like seeing what God, you know, studying throughout the week and seeing what He reveals to me, like it gets me excited to share with people because I feel like God's really spoke something to me, man, you know, and somebody could benefit from it. And if one person, you know, just realizes, like I said earlier, that maybe I have been a little complacent because I get there sometimes and I need a little boost and a little bump of faith, you know, and I think that's what God's got to plan today. You have to bear with me. Okay, so we talked about Abraham, and as he was called to go to the land that he would inherit, he obeyed and went. Then you go a little bit further here, like jump over to 19. He talks about Abraham, and it says, Abraham reasoned that God could even raise the dead. Now, of course, you all know this story. Abraham, God gives Abraham a son, and God tells him to take him up on an altar and sacrifice him, you know. And if you guys have studied in this story, you know Abraham like really desired his son. Like God had already promised him that the descendants, that Israel would be birthed from his descendants. So he's like, man, you know, God ain't gonna have kids. You know, we talked about that a little bit in Sunday school this morning. And like how Abraham was just like, man, well, like the first thing he did was like, well, God, I don't have any kids. But he had to pursue, you know, he had to show faith and be faithful. It said, as he reasoned in his mind and as he started to take Abraham, if you guys could just like put yourself in that position and say you had an only son. I put myself in that position because I don't have any kids and I desire that. You know what I'm saying? So if God gives me a son, which I've been desiring for a long time, and you know, that's just the desire of my heart. That's not something that I'm not completely focused and concentrate on constantly, but that is a desire of my heart. And if God gives me a son, and then immediately after that he said, okay, now I want you to take him up on this altar and sacrifice him because you love him. Like, put that in your mind, like how hard would that be to pick up and go? Well, what did Abraham do? Like, it says right here, it says, Abraham reasoned that God can even raise the dead. So Abraham, in his faith, in his faithfulness, he even thought, okay, God, well, if I have to go kill my son, if I have to go sacrifice him, all you have to do is put your hand on him and show faith, and if you can raise him from the dead like that, like that's faith right there when you believe that. And he took him up there, he put him on an altar right before he was about to slay him, God stopped him. And God provided a sacrifice for that situation just to prove it to Abraham that, look, even in your times where you're not sure, but you still follow in faith, I will provide for you. You know, whatever that needs to be met, whatever that needs to be met, he'll provide. And man, it blows me away to think about Abraham's like faithfulness to do that. And then can you imagine his faith, how it built it up after God stopped that whole scene and supplied a ram for him to sacrifice? Could you imagine how Abraham felt in that moment? You know? Like, man, it blows me away. That's why I try to keep my mind on things like that because, you know, keep our minds in heavenly places and on heavenly things and how God can build us up and how He's built it up through this great cloud of witness of these people that we're seeing right now, you know. And that other, bringing to my mind, like, when it says a great cloud of witness, there's a great cloud of witness. I'm surrounded by a great cloud of witness. Therefore, since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witness, what it's like portraying is like it's trying to get you to envision like an amphitheater, like a huge, you know, back in the day in Roman times, where like a huge coliseum, and you're in the middle, you're in the ring, and you're running, you're going, and you're fighting, and this is your spiritual walk that you're doing this in. And around this arena, the spectators or the witnesses, it says the witnesses, these witnesses are these men of faith, and they're cheering us on. Me and Kenny talked about this yesterday. We had a real good conversation yesterday. Man, he come over and just built me up. He knew I was nervous, and just thinking about this and stuff. And he just come over, man, and encouraged me. But that was something we talked about. Like, if you could just imagine being in this huge arena and running this race and fighting with your life every day, and these guys, Abraham and Noah and all these guys of faith that we've learned about all these years, they're just like, yo, do it, man, do it. Keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. Because they know, like the verse that he mentioned earlier, that when the last person has heard about the gospel, when the last person has heard the gospel, then it's over. We get to go be with Jesus, And so they're like just forcefully, come on, keep going, Shawn, keep going, man, keep going, guys, keep going, keep fighting, keep pushing. And that's like the thought that the author of Hebrews kind of put in our mind out here with this passage. And I love that. Like, it's always about in pursuit of salvation and in pursuit of winning the race that's been set before us, And then that later in that verse, what does it say? It says, always keeping our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. Like, that's the ticket. Like, constantly keeping our eyes on Jesus and seeking his face through the word. And through that, we'll learn about these men of faith that have pushed hard and really, really won for Jesus, man. They're just waiting, for the last person to hear about the gospel. Because they know we'll all be reunited in heaven, man. It's a huge party, man. It's a huge Jesus party. I love it. In 24, I want to read it. Let's see. 23 and 24. Start talking about Moses. I love Moses. He was the man. It says, by faith, Moses' parents hid him for 3 months after he was born, because they saw that he was no ordinary child, and they were not afraid of the king's head. So, you know the story like the first, what was the firstborn of the Israelite children? They would be killed, they'd be sacrificed pretty much. All the males would be pretty much wiped out. And so that was like, they knew something was special about Noah, about Moses, they just knew, right off the bat. It continues on in verse 24. It says, by faith Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. I mean, that's a huge thing there too, because you put yourself, like I said last time I was up here, like anytime I read the word, I'm constantly like trying to put myself in these positions so that I can draw something from it, like God can speak to me and I can get, the reasoning behind why he's putting this in here. It says, he chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than enjoy the fleeting pleasure of sin. Like, he literally chose to be poor, beaten, mistreated, all these things, just because of who God is, and because he was faithful, and through his faith, he knew that dealing with this junk and dealing with this opposition, that he's going to grow in his faith one way or another, and just that simple thing that I keep stressing, like faith produces action, like he could have, it would have been very easy for him to be like, I'm just going to hang out over here, Pharaoh, and enjoy all this food and all this luxury and lavishness, But he didn't do that. He knew that his mind was in another place like ours should be. His mind was on heavenly things, and where he was going after this place, he knew it was temporary. So he's like, man, why would I sacrifice a temporary, why would I sacrifice an eternal resting place with God that I could be in like total communion with God rather than for 100 years of pleasure and satisfaction, And that's something that I think we need to remember in our daily walks. Like, I have to pursue that, like in my flesh. Like, I have to, like when I want to be selfish and do something, or you guys know what I'm talking about. When I want to be selfish and be lazy, and I want to sit there and watch TV for an hour instead of getting in the Word and hitting it hard and really seeking God's face, Sometimes it's a struggle, it's a battle in that situation, but every single time that I let my faith produce action and I do these things that I know I should do and get in the Word and spend like intentional time praying with God and even just sitting there listening, man, and just being, in communion with Him and being open to receive what the Spirit has for us, just in those times, man, it blows me away. Like this past week, seriously, I have to get up and speak to you guys, and I'm just, to be honest with you, I'm like, God, please, man, whatever you do, not because of me, because I want your name to be built up. I want these folks to know that the reason is you. The only reason that I seek any of this out in this Word is so that I can be in relationship with you, and through that, man, please let somebody, get something out of it, and just guide me and direct me where to go. And sure enough, it did. And I feel like God spoke to me all week long. And then, like you can ask my wife, Sarah, like every once in a while, I was going to preach on this. And then 2 days later, I'm like, I don't know, kind of leaning for this way. And then talked to Isaiah and Kenny like 2 days ago. And it just hit me like this great cloud of witness and like what these guys went through and their pursuit of faith. It blows me away. We'll drop down to verse 30. It says, and this is pretty cool, everybody knows this story, but it says, by faith the walls of Jericho fell after the army had marched. So you see another occasion right here where faith produced action. Like if these people really had to believe that God could make the walls fall, they wouldn't have walked around the city 7 times. You know what I'm saying? They walked around 2 or 3 times, got tired like all of us, and like, man, I just don't know about this. But through their faith, which like I mentioned a while ago, faith is an absolute assurance that produces action. And then these people were just absolutely sure that this was gonna happen. I think it's really cool that this was that whole deal right there, the whole walls of Jericho falling. That was one of Israel's first conquests, under Joshua's leadership, and just how that thing just produced just a conquest, and they just handled business and marched through. They were really faithful people, and of course they let some things slip in along the way, but after the army marched, it produced action. In 31, another example, by faith, the prostitute Rahab, she welcomed the spies. She welcomed spies in, and it spared her life. Her faithfulness of God and how she got that revealed to her faithfulness and believing that she welcomed those guys in, they spared her life. 32, verse 32, I like this. It's kind of like, how many more examples do you need? That's what the author of Hebrews is saying right here. It says and what more shall I say? I do not have time to talk about Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, and David, and Samuel, and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms. There's an action again. Who through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, and gained what was promised, who shut the mouths of lions, quenched the fire of flames, and keeps going. It just goes to show you, in all these names, that we're talking about here, these were absolute men of faith. They were absolutely sure of the things they had not seen, because they were seeking God's face. They were in constant communion with Him. They were worshiping with Him. So God was revealing things to them and moving in their lives. So of course they had faith, and of course it produced action, because that's just all they knew. And I just in all this, in the whole deal of faith, authentic faith, believing what you have not seen and it producing action. I feel like God, He really spoke this to me. Our church body is in a time where we've grown rapidly. We've got a lot of new folks here, and I almost think sometimes it's like not enough people to train the new people. You know what I'm saying? And when I say train, I just mean literally disciples. Like just meeting up with these folks that are new in the faith and really hammering down like salvation and what it means and how it produces a crucified self. Like every day when we get up, we crucify ourselves for the sake of Jesus, and we just push forward and we keep our mind on heavenly things and it says in Philippians, and just keeping this thing pushing forward. I almost feel like sometimes there's like a lack in that, and even maybe coming from myself, like maybe I'm guilty of that too, like not reaching out to folks that I should reach out to and asking, hey, do you want to meet up on Thursday, or do you want to do some discipleship, or are there any questions about, especially the faces that you don't see around here, like that haven't been around here for the longest, the new people, and I feel like God's convicting my heart in that, like, hey, when you see somebody that's new to the church or that's not been coming as long as you have or whatever, maybe just throw that out there, like, hey, is there any way we can help you with anything? Do you have any questions, or is there any way I can build you up? That's what the kingdom of God is about, and the word says that many times is like edify, don't bring down, don't destroy somebody. Let's lift them up, man, every chance we can. And lifting up don't always mean just a pat on the back and hey, how you doing? It's good to see you this week. It means like intentional time investing in them, the things that God's shared with you through the week. Just like I'm doing right now, God reveals things to us, and we have a responsibility to share that with the church. Like I seen a post you put on Facebook the other day, like what if every member of the body was functioning in their spiritual gifts? Would your church explode or would it implode? And I don't know, maybe they were somebody put like a little gift in a budget, just explosion, huge explosion. But that's literally what would happen. Like if everybody in the body used their spiritual gifts and we're just connected to the vine like nobody's business, man, we just explode and it just keep on running. And through that, man, God bless you, man, bless your spirit. I was thinking about it yesterday as I was working. I was listening to some worship music and stuff, and a song come on. I listen to Christian rap, and something come on. It was like it just caught my attention because the whole song was just like a passage out of a sermon, and this guy was basically talking about authentic faith, and how it produces action, and the things that follow are like of a heavenly capacity. Like when you by faith, when you go and do these things, like these men of faith in the Bible, and you pursue those things, God said something in your path, and you pursue it with everything you got. You may not see the repercussions right then, but I just feel like when we get to heaven, it's just going to be like an explosion of thankfulness and gratitude from God toward us for being faithful and for using our spiritual gifts and adding to the kingdom daily and all these things that we know that we should do, And I really enjoyed talking to you guys this morning. It's short and sweet this morning. I hope you guys don't mind. I really encourage you guys to like start making disciples. Start with just even seeking out people that you're not sure of. Maybe somebody in this body's been here for a while, and maybe God just speaks to you. For maybe that prayer in your prayer life should be, God, reveal to me a way that I can use my spiritual gift. Maybe you don't even know what your spiritual gift is right now. Maybe your prayer should be, God, reveal my spiritual gift so that I can use it, and in a way that produces for the kingdom of God. Because that's all we want. We just want to bring His glory, make the kingdom shine forward, and just have fun while we're doing it, and be in total communion with each other, have an awesome relationship with Him. Because I just, to be honest with you guys, I don't know how I would do it if I didn't have a relationship with Him. There's so many things that comes at me on a weekly basis, just within my flesh. You know what I'm saying? I know you guys do. it may not be like some kind of crazy, nasty sin that you're involved in, but it may be somebody like, maybe you misunderstood somebody, somebody's spoken a word that not necessarily was meant to bring you down, but in our mind, like the devil will use that and just torment you, you know, and make you think, oh, man, about you, they're doing this, they're doing that. Dang, they don't love you like you think they do, you know. Just little things throughout your week, man, throughout my week is attacking, you know, even through studying for this morning, you know. Just things that on my mind that just Satan, he tries to draw my attention off. He already knows I'm kind of dumb anyway, so he thinks, just get a little more on and it's over with, you know. But he ain't done it this time, I feel like. So, but I appreciate you guys, and I just want you guys to know I love you, and I'm here for anybody. I mean, like I said, I'm not the smartest in the world, but man, I would try. If I could help anybody in here, I'd do it, and no matter what the cost, I would definitely do it. And I love you guys, and I appreciate y'all asking me to come up.